And welcome, folks. We are back. Another edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown focused on the offense with that man they call Al Borges. We are back. We are live, and I want to thank you. Thank you for all of your well wishes, all of your condolences. Obviously, spent some time off last week to spend time with family. As you know, those of you who um, our frequent our website, Facebook page. You know that I lost my brother last week and got a lot of well wishes. Folks who follow us on our post games heard the message, so I want to express my gratitude for all of the support. Really, really, really meant a lot and means a lot. You just don't know till you go through something how much the support really means to help you get through. So, with that, therapy session is what this is for me. Work is strange how work turns into therapy. So, as much as it is work, it's not for me right now. It's like, yeah, let's work. Let's talk football.
Doesn't make the pain go away, Sam, but it
You
makes
know,
it maybe for a little while. Maybe for a
people
little
are
while.
beating their head against the wall talking about, I hate watching these incompletions. I hate watching, I hate watching this football. I hate watching this passing game. I'm like, I love it. I love watching anything football. Anything, this stuff that we're talking about right now is like, yes, let's talk about this. Is therapy for me. So, gorgeous, Borges, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Sam. I'm doing great because we're talking some ball.
I
I
hear that. I hear
like
that.
talking ball, Sam.
Yeah, it's about calibrating calibrating, setting expectations. What should you expect from this offense? What should you expect from Alex Orji? What should you expect from the coaching staff as far as uh, his progression? Like, where should he be? Where should they get him, and how fast should they get him there?
Mhm.
Coach Borges, I think that's a great sort of talking point for this episode, and I think I think it kind of sets it kind of sets the menu, if you will, for the film study this week.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the autograph app, that's where the film studies live. They live on the autograph app, exclusively available on the autograph app, which is that's Tom Brady's app. If you aren't aware, it is free.
There's no
People say,
paywall, Sam.
yeah, right. I got to tell them. People say, why did you put
Put
the
it behind
why
the
did you take
paywall.
yeah, why did you take the film studies off of YouTube and put them behind a paywall? First of all, we did not put the film studies behind a paywall. That's number one. They are still free. Number two, uh, Al Borges likes to be gorgeous.
I do. I do. And it takes a lot
It
of work.
takes money for Al Borges to be gorgeous,
A
right?
lot of money. A lot of money, Sam. And I'm not sure that'll do it. A lot of people say there's not enough money in the world to make me gorgeous, Sam, but we're
Right,
about to
right.
test
Take,
that theory.
right. So it takes money for Al Borges to be gorgeous. Tom Brady said, I got some bread. I can help you be gorgeous, Al.
Thanks, Tom.
Let's just bring these film studies over to the autograph app. Okay, this seems like a match made in heaven. So we could take the film studies over to the autograph app. We can still make them available to you, the people, for free.
Free.
And not only that, you go over to the autograph app, watch the film studies for free, and you get other perks. So all of the free amenities of fandom are available. So our free content from the Michigan Insider, for instance, you can find it over in the autograph. All of our free stories that you look for, they aggregate over to the
Aggregation.
autograph app.
Yeah.
All your free blogs that you might read, Michigan
Yeah.
blogs you might read,
Hmm.
over to the autograph app.
Hmm.
Your free podcast you listen to,
Podcast. Yep.
go over to the autograph app.
Yep.
Free videos, Michigan videos, you over to the autograph app.
Yeah.
Exclusives like the film studies.
How about points, Sam? How about points? You talk about points. We all like points.
Oh, listen to you, Al Borges. You've been paying attention.
I have been. I don't have any choice. You talk loud.
So when you do these things over on the Autograph app, you accrue points, and then you take these points and you redeem them for rewards, Al. It doesn't get much better than that.
I like points, Sam. I like them a lot.
So, so folks, take advantage of the opportunity. Go ahead, go download the app, enjoy the film studies. You'll learn some things about Alex Orji's progress, right? You will get a chance to enjoy all these other fandom perks. And then at the same time, you'll be supporting Al Borges being gorgeous. Now I'm gonna put this QR code on the screen right now for you to download the Autograph app. Very easy for you to do.
But Sam, what if you can't do QR codes? You're like a
Yes, I can.
technological moron like me.
Yeah, I can do a QR. Listen, this is simple for the people, right? QR code right there for you on the screen right now, folks.
That's good.
All right.
That's good.
Download the Autograph app. It's available for you on Android and iOS. So if you got a Droid like me, you're an Apple user, your iPhone or your iPad, boom, there you go. It is simple. It is easy. It is plain to see.
Not
Now,
for technological morons, Sam.
some folks don't like
They don't like them.
QR codes.
Mhm.
I get it. I understand. It's fine. I got you covered too. We can give you a link. I'm putting it on the screen right now. This is the link for Autograph. Link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. Link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. That is the link to download the Autograph app and get the film studies. You can watch them, check them out. Very, very valuable for, like I said, getting the film studies and doing what I'm talking about right now. And that is kind of setting the bar for expectations about where should Alex Orji be 2 games into his career as a starting quarterback, Al. And let's venture over to that question right now. And by the way, we are still preparing for the Buckeye breakdown. People, I don't want to hear about the Buckeye breakdown. I don't know about playing Ohio State. We're still going to prepare like that's going to be a game. I remember a couple years ago when Michigan passed for 44 yards in 7 completions against Washington. And they happened to figure out some things over the course of the year and wound up winning that game. So it is possible, right? So don't give up before the fight. Don't concede the fight.
Too easy, Sam. That's
before
too
the
easy.
first punch is thrown. Is
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
that's too easy. No,
All right. So Al,
no rage quitting.
let's talk about first the idea, the notion that there was progress. Some fans say there was no progress. Devin says there was progress.
Well,
Where do you fall in that discussion?
Well, I think there was some progress, but again, here at Michigan, we've built this monster that we can't feed, and the expectations are more than the progress, if that makes any sense. But no, there were some things that I really like. Matter of fact, in the film study, we go into those things, making some throws under pressure, making some nice pitch and catch throws. What we're not getting as much are explosive pass plays, and that's why the numbers are modest, and everybody's thinking that they can't throw the ball. So I think that's the next step. Okay, got to find a way to get some more explosive pass plays so those passing numbers go up and those safeties get off the line of scrimmage. And that's Sam, that's the bottom line. Because if you're going to run the ball, as much as Michigan is committed to run the ball, got to find a way to get those safeties off the line of scrimmage, so that Khalil doesn't have to make some Herculean run every time he breaks the first level. So, yeah, but there was some progress. Now, hopefully, with 2 starts, we'll take the next step. But remember, sometimes it's kind of baby steps with quarterbacks. It's hard to step into that spot and hit the ground running. Not many do. Okay, but that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, it was. So, I find myself in having kind of two thoughts in talking about where he is in his development. Like I think or one, this is what it looks like for a quarterback who basically became a quarterback, late in his high school career and is two starts into his career as a quarterback in college with
Mhm.
limited throws, right?
Mhm.
This is why not to revisit the conversation or rehash the conversation we had earlier in the season. This was why I was so adamant about, you know, give him some reps, give him some
Yeah.
series in these games for what I felt like was an inevitability that he's gonna be in the game, and some early season reps are gonna be really, really valuable to him. But here we are. So this is
Yeah.
what it looks like. This is what it looks like for a
Mhm.
quarterback who is two starts in with limited throws.
Mhm.
But it also, because this is where he is as a thrower, I feel like the weight of what he must be as a runner is so much heavier, Al. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying
Absolutely.
there?
Yeah. Yeah. And it just goes hand in hand with accommodating the skill set. Okay. He's not Davis Warren. So you got to kind of plan what he is. You know what I mean? He's not as dynamic a runner maybe as Denard Robinson was, but he's pretty good and he's physical. He's a big, strong, strapping kid that when he gets the ball and he gets his shoulders turned up the field, he's pretty formidable. So I think that's in the future going to be probably more part of their plan is to get him involved a little bit more in what I call plus one running, Sam,
Yeah.
where from the get, he's getting the ball. There's no zone reading or any end reading, whether you're reading off a counter player, or zone player, or whatever it is. And you got to have that. I think that's a big part of it. We've talked at that. We'll probably talk a little more about that today. But I think just a few more plus one runs. You know what it does? It gets the quarterback some confidence because he's doing something he's comfortable with. And I think you can get some carryover in a passing game. I do.
Yeah.
And we haven't mentioned that, but when you're feeling your oats, everything seems to hit. You know what I mean? But when you're not, you start the game off, miss a pass here, get sacked or whatever. It gets a little contagious, you know. And but if he gets off running or passing, I think it will reflect both phases of his game.
I think it's a part of maximizing him. I hear what you're saying about rhythm, getting him the feel of the game and impacting other aspects of what he does,
Mm-hmm.
but maximizing his ability and effectiveness
Mm-hmm.
as a runner. I think plus one running is a part of that. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just hard for defenses to account for your quarterback with an extra blocker.
yeah.
I
You
mean,
can match the numbers in the box.
yeah,
That's what's kind of good about it. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, the rub is, and as I've never called plays, I'm trying to get in the mind of, based on talking to you and other play callers who've had quarterbacks who can run, what would discourage you from doing that? And maybe it's trying to conserve the number of hits, knowing that you're going to call a certain number of zone reads. So he had zone reads. He's going to have a certain number of improv runs. He's
He's going to
taking.
hit the pocket. He's
He's
going to hit
getting.
in the pocket.
He's
Yeah.
definitely. He's going to get hit in the pocket
Right.
this year, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's try to keep down the number of hits by keeping the number of plus one runs down or out this week. Were there
Mm-hmm.
any plus one runs this week,
Yeah,
Al?
I don't think there were any. Most of them were reruns when he kept the ball. So this is, I think, in your mind. I know when you have a running type quarterback, and this is again we've talked about this. I had to adjust my thinking when I did it. Hell, I with San Diego State, I didn't have one quarterback run in our offense. Ryan Lindley just wasn't that kind of quarterback. And then the next year, I've got a quarterback who's the most dynamic runner on the team, if not in the entire country. So you have to completely adjust your thinking, and you have to kind of. What I tell you, it helped me is I kind of embraced it. I'd always coached pro style offense, and I said, I'm going to prove to the people I can coach a running quarterback. The ego gets involved a little. Maybe that's not all bad. Maybe that's not all bad. So you got to kind of embrace it and say, okay, we're going to have the quarterback run the ball 14 to 15 times. Now, not plus one. I'm talking he's going to run the ball. He's going to have to run it on scrambles like we talked about, plus one run, read runs, whatever. Now he's going to run the ball 14 to 15 times, and it's a trade-off. The trade-off is he's going to get hit more. That's part of the deal. But it's better than punting, okay? So you decide that you're going to feature him a little bit more in the run game because there's less throwing, Sam. There's a lot of carries available, for Donovan, for Khalil, for him, occasional reverse to a receiver. There's a lot of carries available. So you can use him and really force the defense to play him. You know what I mean? Play him. And they have all the schemes to do it. So I just think that would help his confidence, if nothing else.
Yeah, man. I think here's the crazy thing. A lot of the reactions that we were hoping to see teams have to Michigan's run game that we weren't seeing in the first couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
With Alex in the game, we're seeing them.
Yeah, you're seeing they're more gross too. Yeah.
We're actually seeing those reactions. So when I see some of the arguments, so you're 2 games into his starting, his career as a starting quarterback, and already people are ready to scrap it because the passing game has been relatively inept. Make no mistake, like it's nowhere near where it needs to be. No one is arguing otherwise, right? It has a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But do you cut bait now and reverse course and go back to a better passing game at the expense of the growth in the running game? And I think that's foolhardy. Why would you sacrifice a higher ceiling capability for a lower ceiling?
Yeah, particularly since you're invested 2 games in it now,
Right. I mean, you're only going to get to a certain level as a passing team with this personnel. Like it's lower compared to what you can be as a running team. I mean, look at what they're look at what they can do as a running offense with no passing game. Just think about that. They have basically no passing game to speak of. And they can run the football pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
No, great last week. Not quite as good
great
this week,
last
but
week.
great
But
last week.
that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
And think about how they're reacting to Alex. So if you watch the film study last week, and this is why the analytics and all these breakdowns about why you need to throw away this offense right now and go back make no sense. They say, okay, look what you had with these numbers in the passing game before. Well, you got Khalil Mullings starting now. He's gonna now. You got Khalil. The running offense is gonna be okay no matter who's at the quarterback position. Khalil Mullings is gonna break tackles no matter who's at quarterback. You're right, but he absolutely will not have the same running lanes that he has right now with a different quarterback. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, without a running threat at quarterback, they can neutralize your running backs. If well, the biggest thing, and we haven't mentioned this, but the biggest thing that the running quarterback helps with is the offensive line, because now you're not forced to block every player. Okay, you have the read dimension to that, and the offensive line, who still is a work in progress as we go, gets a lot of help. You get a lot of help now. Now, they have not gone to what I would call a full-fledged Rich Rodriguez type spread deal, which I don't think that's very practical at the end of the day to make that drastic a change. But you could put pieces and pieces of that in, and just to explore him and still maintain most of the components of your offense. So I think if they can continue to build on this run game, featuring the quarterback a little bit more, and improve the passing game, will they ever be great? I don't know. But I think they'll make enough headway because they play such good defense, they can play with anybody in the country.
Well, I'll give you two vivid examples of what I'm talking about. Two vivid examples of what I'm talking about. Just go back and look at the first touchdown for Khalil Mullings versus USC, and the first touchdown for Khalil Mullings versus Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex Orji was a direct contributor to both touchdowns. And I'm telling you, you put a different quarterback in, and the circumstances for Khalil Mullings are totally different. Right. Because against USC, three players went with Alex Orji on that play. Free safety and the Mike and the Will went with went with Alex as he rode the mesh. 3 on the split zone. 3. Thinking, I got to watch for the quarterback on this play. Last week, on the duo read, the mic froze. If you look at the picture, I mean, it is plain as day. Let's set aside the edge guy that is clearly watching Khalil, because clearly watching Alex, because Khalil cuts the play back. Khalil cuts it back, and so we'll set aside the edge defender who is looking at Alex. Let's just talk about the Mike, who is the guy who's in position to make the play. But he does not flow to the B gap, Al, and he does not flow to the B gap because he is watching Alex Orji on this play.
Mm-hmm. And it's ironic a little bit because Alex had not really burned him running the football, but they know he can. And just the threat of that gets a more gross reaction.
See, and
if you put another guy in there who's not as good a runner.
This is uninformed. This song's about life. This is not an Orji excuse. If you think that's an Orji excuse, why are you here? You're not paying attention. You are not paying attention if you think this is football. I am telling you what happened on a football play. Football players are watching the quarterback, ignoring the running back, because the quarterback can run. And you take a quarterback who can't run and put him at that position, they're going to watch the running back. It changes the equation.
Right. They see who the threat really is, and then they have to correspond. They have to play more disciplined gap defense when you got a good running quarterback. It's that simple. And like I said, Alex really hasn't even done what I think Alex can do running the ball, and he still is drawing attention. So you watch a film study, it bears itself out a little bit. It's hard to explain it without diagrams.
Right. So again, it's now that does not mean that they don't need to throw the football. That doesn't mean that he doesn't need to improve. And it also doesn't mean, Al, and this is why I think they need to lean heavier into Alex and what he brings to the equation running the football. See, to me, as much as you said this about when you came in with Denard, you said, I got to take hits off my quarterback. I got to take hits off of Denard. Right. He won't last the season. Mm-hmm. While I understand I'm not a play caller, I'm just an armchair guy. I'm just this dude talking about dudes who call plays for a living. I get that. But I don't know that you can afford to be that conservative with Alex. I think you got to go into every game saying, 5 to 6 times a game, I'm gonna call a quarterback run, not a zone read, a quarterback run,
Then you ensure he gets the ball, right? Yeah,
making
that
sure he gets the ball.
yeah, right. That's how you got to kind of do it. See, when and you learn as you go, because uh, but they're 5 in now, so the offense has basically defined itself. It's defined itself in terms of what the personnel is capable of. So uh, you got to you got to embrace the concept that this kid has got to be a featured runner somewhat. He may not be not like it's not like Denard where he is the running game. Although I will say that Fitz Toussaint rushed for 1,000 yards my first year too, so Denard wasn't just a running game. But in this instance, I would take a few calls off as much as I called Denard's number, so to make sure the other kids got the ball. But I do think it would help. It would help everybody. And the residual is that the quarterback may get hit a few times, but the checks and balances of having to run a quarterback.
Yeah, I think it would help. It would help a lot. I think it would help a lot. Yeah, I think it gives them extra plays. I think to your point, maybe it helps get him in a rhythm, and then of course, you got to continue to grow him up in the passing game where you got to continue to. I think he. I think you got to continue to thread the middle of the field. Right?
Yeah,
My
that's another factor too, Sam. I think still the middle field's got to be attacked more than it is, and then they did a little bit more in this game. They got an interception when they did it once, but you got to do it without compunction. You can't say, "Well, they picked it the last time." Got to avoid turnovers, and believe me, I'm well aware how that goes. But the way the defenses are playing, they're playing with a free safety some, but a lot of times they're not, and they are giving opportunities for single coverage matchups outside on early downs. I'm not talking about third down. I'm talking about early downs when predictable run situations. Every so often, you got to pull it out and attack the middle field. I
so
think yeah,
so
you got to do that.
let's talk about the passing game. Um, where did you see progress, and then what did you think about the pass plays that were called? What, if anything, do you think could be um, done to maybe help advance the ball as far as the passing game for Alex is concerned? What did you think of the interception?
Oh, the interception was there just was a protection, a little bit of a protection issue in that he had to front out, and then the defensive tackle kind of wrapped around. It was a delay ET. The left end did an up and under on the right tackle. They wrapped the tackle around. He had to escape quickly, but he did a great job of staying in his passing profile. Loveland, it was a 3 vertical route. Loveland was wide open down the middle because 2 guys had gone with the crash route by Morris. He crossed the field, the corner, and the safety chased it. It was a busted coverage, had to be. Nobody carried the nickel, who had widened a little bit with Donovan's motion, did not carry Donovan down the field. He was wide open. But the first look and the most open guy from the get was Loveland. Now, once the up and under developed, Alex fronted out, stayed in his passing stance, just like you tell him to, and looked at Loveland, who was still open. But now, I think at that point, the outside receiver, Donovan, was a little more of a viable option. He threw it to Loveland, and had he been able to finesse that throw and not the ball floated on him because I think he tried to get it over 91 and kind of threw his hand up in the air, and the ball floated and drifted inside. The guy intercepted it. But had he could have still hit Loveland even after the front out with a good throw, with a good, without being harassed or feeling harassed, or throwing the ball outside to Donovan, who was completely open. By that time, he had run by the nickel, who did not carry him. He just let him go. And, like I said, I think it was as much a protection issue as anything, particularly with regard to the timing of the throw initially, because Loveland was certainly open.
So a couple of things with that play, because Coast and Lovin screaming down the middle of the field. I remember seeing it like he's open right now. I didn't see why he couldn't hit him right now.
I didn't either because I was just watching Loveland.
Right, I couldn't see why. I thought he just didn't see him. So I apologize. You can't see everything in the moment. So I apologize for, that not being, but tape kind of shows why he didn't see it or why he couldn't get to it. Maybe he
No,
did see it in the moment. I don't. Maybe he saw it, but he got pressure
right
right
through,
now.
yeah, right through the middle. Yeah, the guy came
Pressure.
under right now. Either
Yeah,
he couldn't see the throw because of the up and under, or he felt he couldn't pull through the throw. So
right.
he felt he had to move, and I agree with him. I had no problem with the move.
Yeah. So I said he got to it late. It it might have been that he saw it right now, but I got pressure right now. I can't throw this ball right now.
Right.
So, but Colston is open right now, right? Because like you said, two guys leave with leave with Tyler. All right. So now you say he fronts out.
Fronts out and did
Now,
not break profile, which a lot of runners will do.
now,
That would have taken everything off the table.
he fronts out, and it looks Colston is
Still looks open. Yeah,
still looks open.
yeah,
Now he said in the presser, I got to get to Donovan.
and I can see why he did. I can
Yeah,
see why he did.
because there's no one with Donovan.
No,
No one with Donovan. Now a better throw because he hangs the ball up and he throws it toward the safety.
Mhm.
So a better ball down the field, maybe away from coverage, you can probably still get Colston. I wonder what the coaching point is because there's the the tackle who loops around for contain. He's coming toward him, Al.
He's not going to sack him. No, he's
But
not
yeah,
going to.
it's like it looks like he's like 2.5 yards
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
What do you
but
to your point? I mean, do you tell him like, hey man, you gotta sometimes you gotta risk the punishment.
yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
stand in there. This is
Yeah,
what do you call occupational hazard.
occupational hazard. But on
What do
that
you tell
one, well, on that one, because he wasn't a threat to sack him, he was just in the way. Okay, now passing is a finesse art. Okay, you can have a strong arm and all that, but if you don't know how to touch the ball, use the different trajectories and RPM speeds and all that, you're not a very good passer. So you still got to learn. Some guys still can learn how to do that. I think Alex can learn how to do that. But what he had to do is he had to get the ball over 91, who again wasn't that close, but close enough. Because if you watch his footwork altered. It was not a clean transfer when he threw the ball. And the idea was just to try to get the ball over him, get it up and down fast, and drop it right in his hands. But what happened is because his footwork got broken a little bit, he floated the ball, and the ball wobbled a little bit, and it pulled him inside. And I think 91 had more to do with that throw than people realize. Okay. Did he have to? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he could have made that throw without 91 being a factor. Okay. But I think he did. But like I said, I think where Donovan really became a factor on the play is once Alex reached that point where once he fronted out, I think both the inside and outside receivers would read one A and one B, if that makes any sense. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So again, uh, you know, coach point, because earlier in that drive, like it was like, man, you know, he made a really good play. It was like, I said second reading progression. Devin said it was the fourth reading progression when he hit Kendrick on the backside dig. It's like, okay, but he got great protection on that play. He got great protection on that play and had time to find that guy. The difference on this play was there was pressure. Now, you pointed out a play that he hit. I can't remember the play in question where he had stood in there and he took a shot and delivered the ball. And so that's going to be part of the maturation process. Like with this line, being able to navigate through some traffic, being able to deal with pressure in the pocket. And more pressure and more traffic than a lot of other quarterbacks have to deal with. That's going to be probably an occupational hazard for him that he has to learn to deal with this offensive line.
Yeah, it's a little learn on the run here. You know what I mean? There's some things that are coming up that are game specific, Sam, that you're just not going to get in practice because the quarterback does not get hit in practice. In a game, he's free game, right? So certain things that you didn't see in practice come up, and he has to experience, learn to grow. It's that simple, and that's difficult sometimes for people to understand. But that again is the reality of that position.
So where can you expect him? Where can you expect him to grow right now? Do we know from one game to the next that he on a play scenario like that where he thinks the pressure is in his face that he's going to stand in there and take the shot
Mm-hmm.
and deliver the ball? I don't know. I mean, I think there's a chance. I mean, I think he can learn from that play, but there's one play from that game where I'm confident that he will take from this game and be like, okay, he'll he'll take he'll look at the tape and say, okay, I'm gonna do this play different. And it was
Mm-hmm.
that third down scramble.
39, right? Yeah,
Third
where
nine.
he ran and got the first down,
First
right?
down. He
Yeah.
scrambled for a first down, which I'm sure the coaching point has been, look, man, you see green grass and you got an opportunity to get a first down. If there's any doubt, run the freaking ball.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so he did it. And I think he picked up like maybe like 13, 14 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But Al, as soon as he tucked the ball, he sucked the defense up. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Left the outside receiver completely uncovered. This is something I learned this years ago from Sam Weish when he was a quarterback coach for the 49ers. He was coaching Joe Montana. And he said, understand our scrambles that we always want to keep the pass alive because we can always run after the fact. Okay, we can go ahead and run. If everybody backs up, we'll just run. But he taught me this. He says, well, when you break the pocket, always keep your passing grip on the ball and your eyes up. Even if you put the ball under your arm, which could be a very good tool to pull people up, right? But you always keep your passing grip on the ball simply because you want to be able to spit it out quick without having to re-grip it, okay? And that was a classic example of just that. He pushed up. It was very good footwork. He pushed up, got him in the pocket, broke contain. He saw the first down and ran for the first down, and God bless him. They ended up scoring a touchdown that series because of it. But there's only so many opportunities for explosive pass plays, particularly how things are going now. We're just not getting many of those. That was an opportunity for an explosive pass play because as soon as he broke, the corner left the receiver, and the receiver was all by himself. And Alex had not broken the line of scrimmage yet. So there's a chance right there. You coach him, say, good job, you got the first down, blah, blah, blah. But understand, there's going to be circumstances when you start forward that they're going to break coverage. And you got to be able to exploit that instantly by seeing it and making a quick throw. So as much as I love watching you run, I want you to run. You scare the defense. There are some chances there to get some explosive passes.
yeah, man, that could have been a touchdown, but that's a play that I think they probably showed him in the in film that it's like, good job, great job, even you got a first down, and they scored a touchdown on that drive. So
They did. Yeah, they did.
Let's point that out. He extended the drive. They scored a touchdown later on the drive, but man, you could have had a touchdown in one play right here. He probably looks at that and says, hey, when I pull the ball down, this is something JJ got. This was really year 3 for JJ. It's year 3. And we noticed it a lot last year where JJ, when he would pull the ball, he was always looking downfield, where the years prior when he would pull the ball down, he was always running. Right. Well, I think Alex can take that play and realize when he pulls the ball down, man, the defense reacts. Man, I'll have some opportunities to throw the football down the field. I think he'll learn from that play.
Yeah. And just always know that if for some reason they don't react and they stay in coverage and they plaster their guys, run. You can run. But give yourself that option to the last minute.
Yeah. Yep. All right. If you have questions for Al, start putting them in the chat right now. We'll get to Al's grades. And then after Al gives you his grades, we'll get to your questions. So start lining those questions up for Coach Borges, and we will start knocking them down. So, Al, give me your grades, starting with your grades for the quarterback.
Well, the quarterback was a C plus to C. He did some nice things, but you can't throw for 92 yards and expect a good grade, particularly when there are some opportunities. So, but he did progress. He did get better. but he still has not reached the level we need to win championships. So we got to get better there. Okay, the tight ends uh, were pretty good. They did not use Loveland much as an inline blocker and such. I had Klein is still developing and learning, uh, but altogether they were about a C plus or B minus. Also, they were not stellar by any means, but they are playing hard. You can tell they're coached well because they have good footwork, but they're still kind of learning on the run. The running backs were. I had very few errors by the running backs. Khalil ran like a man possessed. Donovan was adequate. Didn't have a big play, but as a group, they did a pretty nice job. I think there was one time they didn't pick a blitz up very well, but for the most part, they played pretty good. The receivers, again, I'm just not feeling the receivers. I can't grade them any better than a C until they make an impact. There's got to be some impact from that position. I think that there's some talented kids out there, and given the opportunity, I think something's going to show up eventually. But at this point, it just really hasn't. So that's where I'm at with that. I think I covered them all, didn't I? Yeah. So the offense was a C. I mean, really. I mean, it was not a great overall performance. We got to get 30 points out of them, and we got to get, that'd be nice to get 400 something yards. I mean, but I've been, as a coordinator, I've been in these situations where you're not playing as good as you'd like to be playing, and that other years where you're rocking and rolling. But I think in time, again, if they keep everybody healthy, the offense will improve.
Yeah, Al. You know, lots of questions about how you would what's your script for Alex. I'll get to those questions coming up. I wonder what are some of the things you would do to um, kind of advance him as a are there things from that you did with Denard
Mm-hmm.
that helped progress him get him more comfortable as a passer, help advance his or spur his growth throwing the football? What were some of the things you did with
Well,
Denard?
just understand everything starts with fundamentals, and fundamentals footwork is huge because that's how you time your throws. Footwork also helps you read your throws. That is where it all starts. What it did for me as a quarterback coach, anyways, all starts with 1, 2, 3 plant throw, 1, 2, 3 hitch throw, 1, 2, 3 hitch throw, 1, 2, 3 run up throw, front out, whatever. Practice all those basics so that he knows how to time each pass. Okay. Then you go north of the neck. You start instructing him on, is there a throwing lane based on the look, or does it force a check down? Is it a big shot for a big play? Is there an intermediate throw? If not, be willing to check the ball down or run. If in fact running is part of your skill set, that third read could oftentimes be you. I did that with Denard a lot, okay, for obvious reasons. And then, like we mentioned, I think a +1 runs, and all of them are plays that I think they have. They can run the quarterback on a counter without having to do all the reading and everything. The quarterback draws and quarterback powers, which they've run. They've done all this stuff. But with Alex, they might want to think about using it a little bit more. I'm not saying, it doesn't have to be like Denard Robinson. I don't think that'd be taking carries away from better runners. You don't want to do that. But I just think it would help the overall run game with him more involved in the run game. But and a little bit of speed option. That's a pain in the butt for the defense. Some of that's not a bad deal. Now you can't ensure he's going to carry that, but he does a lot. Okay, but there's so many creative schemes in the run game with the quarterback involved. I mean, you can wallpaper the walls drawing plays with a quarterback running because you do have an extra blocker and you can handle loaded boxes. So I think that would help. I think it'd help his confidence if nothing else.
All right. Folks, I've been saying as we get to the questions right now that we are doing the Buckeye breakdown in the bye week. What is the Buckeye breakdown, you ask? That is where we do a film study dedicated totally to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Al Borges has been doing a little counterintelligence. He's been doing a little reconnaissance. He's been studying the Buckeye tape. Yeah, that's right. You think Connor Stallions was the only one? Not
Understand?
so.
No way. No way.
Not
No.
so. Al's been doing it too. That's right. Not spending his time just on Michigan film. He's been looking at those Buckeyes too. And he's been doing it for you. For you, the people. You, the people out there.
People.
Making sure you know what the Buckeyes are going to do. Right? And so, in order to do that, though, you know, needs a little help. Needs to make sure that, that's properly funded because it's hard work being gorgeous like Borges. So we need to fund those Buckeye breakdowns. And to fund the Buckeye breakdowns, you need a couple dollars here and there. So help a brother be gorgeous like Borges. Donate to the Buckeye breakdowns. I'm going to put the PayPal link in the chat. I'm going to put it in the description. You got $1, you got 5, you got 10, whatever you got, throw it in there and you can help us fund the Buckeye breakdown. So in the bye week, we'll have the Buckeye film studies and we'll keep the film studies going in both of the bye weeks, by the way, and we'll be ready to go. So I'll put those in the chat. In the meantime, in between time, we'll also go ahead and get the questions going. And I'll put the first one up there on the screen right now, Al. And we'll get the first question in. And it is from Dennis Chang. Al, how would you scheme receivers open if they're having trouble getting separation?
Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. One of the first things is you implementing a lot of motions, okay? Because it's harder to make your checks or when the receiver isn't stationary. Okay, they can still make the checks, but a lot of times they got to make them on a run, and one guy gets it, another guy doesn't, and that's one way. And then stacking receivers is another way, putting the receivers behind each other or motioning to those stacks. That can free up receivers in press coverage and get them cleaner releases. Those types of things that are maybe a little less conventional than just lining up static and just, running down a field and expecting the guy to separate. So all those, unusual looks can help the receivers get open.
All right. Uh, Here we go. Grindhard. Al, it seems clear we have a quarterback problem. Should Michigan fans prepare for another season with Orji, or do you see this as a placeholder year?
I think it's all in how it turns out. How's it going to turn out? If Alex comes around and starts to show some promise, and they believe they can win championships with him, no, they won't change. I wouldn't. But if it doesn't, if it goes south or it just doesn't progress like you want, then yeah, I think they're probably going to consider having trying somebody else out of the position. But this is a golden opportunity for him. He's a competitive kid, and we'll see how that goes. But I think the rest of the year is going to answer that question.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next one. This one is kind of one I've been alluding to for Adam Shepardson. Al, what's your script for Orji and our offense for the first drive at Washington?
What I think, again, I'd have to. I sit down for hours when I made those scripts out. But somewhere in there, I would make sure that Mullins is carrying the ball in your first 15 plays, about 5 to 7 of them, right in there. And then maybe a couple and all those or most of those with some read involved with the quarterback to pull the ball. Okay. Because you may get one pull if you're lucky and all that. And then script 2 or 3 in the first 15 where the quarterback's set to run the ball. You know what I mean? And work Donovan as a ball carrier and then put him out at wide receiver of the first 15 plays. The way that it's going, I'd put him out there about 8 to 10 plays where he was a slot or a wide out, or he's in the backfield with him, But, 15, 17 plays, most of them are going to be runs because that's the nature of our team. But in there somewhere has got to be a couple shot passes, or at least one shot passes where the middle of the field is being attacked. You can put a couple of confidence builder throws in there, maybe a little stick route or something a naked. He's good on nakeds. He's a very good naked bootlegger. So I think I'd throw maybe one of those in there. But, without really sitting down and looking at what they do defensively. I think I'm just pulling that out. I mean, I'd have to look at what they do defensively to really be definitive about how you'd go about it. But that my knee jerk is to that would be my approach.
All right. Next one for Coach Borges. Al, shouldn't quick slant passes behind the linebackers be easy throws for Alex since linebackers are crashing down? I think he's advocating for RPOs.
I
Al.
don't know. I don't. Well, if you're just talking about slants, yeah, he threw one in the game. He threw a nice. Was it this week or last week? I can't remember. But he threw a beautiful slant. They had a shallow cross by the Y. The slot came inside in the slant. He split his numbers with the throw. So I think that's got to be in there somewhere. That's a pass that comes out fast. It's highly unlikely that you're going to be sacked on it, and it appears that he can throw accurately. So I think there is a place for that somewhere in the offense. Now, you talk about RPOs, and again, all of a sudden becoming a big RPO team is not very practical. Okay. But to throw a couple RPOs, and by that, I'm not talking about bubbles or anything. I'm talking about balls behind linebackers or safeties who are filling fast. That would probably be a good little tool that you could pull out of your box every so often just to keep them off the line of scrimmage. And now it is some coaching, and you got to decide whether or not you want to go to that expense. But it'd be a good deal for Orji because you know you're going to get crowded boxes.
All right. Let's go to the next one. Al, this is John Walls. What's up, John? Al, how are you coaching up Dino and the wide receivers this week due to limited touches? This is an
Well,
interesting question about
it
Donovan.
is because this is something I've watched and I thought about a lot, and I'm not, again, God dog, I don't have all the answers to this thing. I got ideas and food for thought, but God knows they're with the players every day. They have a lot better feel for what they can do. But my knee jerk is if you're struggling a little bit out there, is I think you want to get him out there more. And I'm not just saying on bubbles or occasional, option routes or what. I'm talking about play him at wide receiver, uh, 15, 20 plays in a game. Play him at X, play him at slot, play him wherever you want, and at the same time have the ability to bump him back in the backfield with Donovan and to have two backs. I know this, and this is I'm not saying this pulling it out of my butt because I'm telling you, when we switched Devin Gardner to wide receiver my second year, it made an impact on our offense. It did. He ended up leading our team in touchdown passes, touchdown receptions, and excellent run after catch. And he was a 6'4" guy with a lot of range. That helped us. And now Donovan isn't that type, but I know Donovan is probably as good a receiver and maybe faster. So
Definitely fast.
yeah. So now Devin would probably argue that. So that's why I had to be delicate on how I said that. But
Definitely faster than
okay,
Devin.
thanks, Sam. So you can fight him. Anyway, I think that's something that's worth consideration. Where if it is a position that hasn't produced like you want, you do have a guy there that's capable of playing out there. Would I make him a full-fledged receiver? No, but I would have him more of a part of it, I think.
Let me reiterate. Donovan Edwards is definitely faster than Devin Gardner. It's not even close. Okay.
And you can take that to Devin, and I'm betting he argues. I'll tell you what, the Devin was pretty fast. I'm not saying
I didn't say he was. I didn't say
he was fast. He surprised me. His speed. He caught a couple shallow crosses. He ran away from guys. I go, my goodness.
Why are you Al Borges? But why are you blowing up Devin Gardner more than he's already blown up?
They don't need it. You're right. All right. All right. Sam, this part, cut this out of the deal. Oh, we can't do this live.
He was a great athlete. Devin was a great athlete.
All right. Enough of Devin. Enough of Devin.
I mean, we got the man's jersey hanging on the wall. All right. Next one. Let's see. The next one would be from Alex. He's not running, but I get it. Okay. This one from Adam Shepardson. Again, Coach, what do you see on the All-22 film about our wide receivers' ability to get open? Does our offensive staff do enough to scheme more open opportunities for them?
Oh, I think they're scheming enough open opportunities. There's just not a lot of throws. I mean, if you want the receivers to catch some balls, you got to throw 28, 30 times. And, uh, but I don't see big problems with how they're scheming the receivers. Okay. The receivers have not had an impact for whatever reason. But I know part of that reason is the ball has not been in the air a lot. Okay. My point is not that. My point is when it is in the air, the defense has to feel it. Okay. They got to feel the impact on plays down the field that take big bites out of the defense and keep safeties off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. So I feel like the opportunities where guys are, kind of running open, you see, Colston is going to be a guy that gets open like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's going to be a guy, or if there are guys around him, he's going to be able to make a play. He's either going to be able to get really open, get big, or if there are people around him, I'm still open. Colston's that guy. Another guy like that, or another guy that I think could be like that on the roster, I think Donovan could be like that. I think Donovan could be like that in the passing game, which is why, to me, Al Borges, in the few minutes I have left, I want to get back to the point that you made about Devin, and I made this point in the Monday morning quarterback.
No, we're back on Devin?
Yeah, well, I made this point in the Monday morning. You said you called it the Devin. He said you called it the Devin Gardner session. The Devin Gardner period. You came up. He said I felt good because he said we're gonna practice the Devin Gardner session. Right. He said the Devin Gardner period.
It's yeah, like, that's right for him. We do. We're gonna put a crown on him at the end of the session. No, what we did with him is because Devin was a guy. God, about halfway through my first year, I'm going, why are we sitting this guy on the bench? It was driving me nuts because he's a quarterback. And so we implemented what we called some deuce personnel. Well, we played with two quarterbacks, which was good. It was good stuff. It caused some problems, but it just wasn't enough. Okay. It wasn't enough. So in my second year, I finally came to my senses and said, okay, I'm not going to have him. He's going to go play wide receiver. He's going to have to buy in, which he did. And he became, if not our best receiver, one of our best receivers. And he had an impact. And we needed to find a way to practice that, okay? Because remember, Devin was a quarterback too. So at one point, I had to put him at receiver and have Bellamy be the backup quarterback so that we could develop him, okay? But as it turned out, Denard got hurt. He had to go back to quarterback. So all the best laid plans of mice and men. But that's how we went about it.
So, look, this ideally, if you had last year's personnel, you could afford to, have a Donovan Edwards. You rotate backs where Blake Corum's in the game, and then Donovan comes in to spell Blake, right? But this team is limited, right? They don't have playmakers all over.
Right.
They're limited in playmakers. You don't have another home run hitter like Donovan Edwards on this team, right? Now you found a bell cow. You found a guy who you can hang your hat on in Khalil Mullins. But to me, and I said this on with Devin, if the result of the RB1 discussion was you get Khalil 20 plus touches or 20 plus carries, and Donovan gets 9 touches and he's on the bench, however much more percentage of the time, then you've solved one problem and created another. Like to have a home run hitter like that on the bench that much on an offense devoid of home run hitters is a missed opportunity. I think you got to have more of your best more situations where your best personnel is on the field together, and that means having Donovan on the field in other situations, whether that's in the slot or split out.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. To me, the best perimeter players are start with Bradison. He has to be on the field. Now, he's not going to make a lot of plays. That's not his deal. but he's going to provide opportunities for other guys to make big plays. Colston Loveland has to be on the field, for obvious reasons. And their tight end coach, Kasula's done a great job of teaching him better inline blocking. He's improved that, and he's got to be there. His receiving speaks for itself. Donovan Edwards, Khalil Mullins, right? And probably Tyler Morris is probably, he seems to be the receiver that gives you the best chance to make a big play. Samaj Morgan, in spots when he's healthy too. I'm not eliminating guys. I'm just saying if you're going to play with the best players to give you the best, that should probably be on a field at least half the time and maybe more than that. I think those guys are probably the guys that give you the best chance. And again, this is from experience. Sitting on the sideline, standing on the sideline with a call sheet, and some athlete that is really good and is good, if he's not playing, I had to reevaluate how I was going about things. And I beat myself up over it. When I was at Auburn, I had Ronnie Brown, but Cadillac Williams was a starting halfback. I said, well, the backfield's real big. We can fit a lot of guys. You can fit a bunch of backs back there. So he played, 75% of the time somewhere, either tailback, fullback, slot, blah, blah, blah. And that's where he had to be for us to be as good as we were going to be.
All right, folks, that is going to have to do it for us this week. Sorry if there were more questions. We didn't quite get to all of it. Well, this last one. Matt McIntyre wants to know, how well did Alex do on the read option plays? Was the blocking just so bad that the read options were not going to work?
Well, there was one that was a no-win proposition. The guy tackled the back in the backfield. He pulled the ball, and they gap transferred and got him. I don't think there was a win there anyway. You cut it, but there was a play or two that could have been pulled. Particularly one duo, I believe. Maybe it wasn't this. Maybe it was last game.
It was last game.
Yeah, last game. I think he's done a reasonably good job. But I think it's like I say, so much of his game is still a work in progress. So that's something you got to do. You got to keep doing it. You got to do it in practice, and you got to do it. You got to create some chemistry with your backs and all that, and you can get good at that.
Yeah. All right, folks, that is going to do it for us on this edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown, focused on the offense with Al Borges. Remember, as I said, you can find the film studies over on Autograph. Be sure to check out the film study. It alters perspective, or at least put it this way. It may not alter your perspective, but it certainly will inform your perspective. And it is free. If you don't have the Autograph app, you can download it right now. It is available on Android and iOS for free. So get it right now. I'm going to put it on the screen for you to download, those of you who do not have it. So go ahead. Here you go. It is available for download. For those of you who do not like to download apps, I'm going to put the link on the screen for you to go ahead and download it that way. So here you go. It is link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. Link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. That is how you can get the Autograph app via the link. So, folks, and then last but certainly not least, be sure to help fund the PayPal, fund the Buckeye Breakdown. If you want to help fund the Buckeye Breakdown for that great film study that we're going to do in the bye week, folks, you got to help us out, because we are going to have, you, like I said, you want to know what the Buckeyes are doing? We're going to do it bigger and better than any Buckeye Breakdown you've ever seen. Certainly better than old Kind of Stallions did. This is how we're going to do it. So we're going to put it in the description and the comments. So be ready to go. Help us fund that Buckeye film study. We'll have it ready to go for you in the bye week. Until next time, folks, thanks for watching the Michigan Football Breakdown, focused on the offense with Al Borges. We'll see you next week.